Yes, welcome back to DR Sports. It's 5 o'clock. You know what time it is. It's Transfer News, your daily update with myself, AGT, sitting across from me in a France World Cup 98 shirt. It's Jack. How are we, fella?
Oh, I'm good, thank you. Very hot.
Well, do you know what? That was actually going to be my second question. Is it hot in here?
It might be too hot.
Yeah. Basically, we've just had the fan confiscated from us as well. So it's a hot one in London today. It's sticky. It's sweaty.
Pause.
But it's Transfer News. It's Transfer News on DR Sports. So, today on the show, we are talking about Chelsea doing some deals, Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool, West Ham, and anything else that comes into us as well. So make sure you're with us. Make sure you're in the comments, having a little chat with us, keeping us entertained. And probably just a few nice little random football question quiz things would be nice as well. Just, as the show goes on. So get them in as well. We'll have
Ask AGT about any shirt number ever. Any shirt number, any sponsor.
Yeah.
Like, talk to me about the old school Fulham shirt sponsor.
Pizza Hut and Adidas.
There you go.
They also had Pipex. Wolves, Doritos, obviously, the classic. Yeah. So get them in. I like them little weird questions and that. So please do get them in. How are you, Jack? You all right?
I am very good. I came on here, a week and a half ago. Arsenal done nothing, and now we've decided out of nowhere to do 4 deals in 2 weeks, which is very un-Arsenal-like. Do you know what? I think it was 14 years ago or so today, or maybe 11 years ago, that we bid 40 million on £1 for your man.
I remember exactly where I was. I was working and went to the cafe for lunch
at the Emirates?
and read the paper. John Henry's famous tweet, "What are they smoking at the Emirates?" Yeah, I remember it. Wow, you know what?
I think it was 11 years ago, right? 2014,
yeah,
2013?
2013 it was. And then Gerrard convinced him to stay till 2014. But yeah, you're right. So cheeky that. I know the release clause was the release clause, but come on, we ended up selling him for 75 in the end. Anyway.
Apparently, it wasn't a release clause. It was like anything over 40, he'd be allowed to speak, but like it won't be accepted. And we were like, well, we'll just bid 40 and a quid then because it's over.
Honestly, it's so disrespectful, and it's actually echoing the point that Robbie made on the show earlier, where depending on how you deal with clubs, if they don't like how you're dealing with them, if they think you're taking the piss and shortchanging them and negotiating and bartering a bit too much, they'll just be like, no.
It's a bit like us with Brighton now. Arsenal and Brighton won't really do too much business because they don't like how we handled bidding for Caicedo. Just giving them an extra 5 million, being like, please accept. And they got 115 for him in the end. Yeah,
they did. I know about that as well with my team. But anyway, let's go back to Chelsea, where Caicedo ended up. João Pedro is travelling to the US to join Chelsea's Club World Cup after a deal worth up to 60 million was agreed with Brighton, as we just mentioned there. When you look at the kind of strikers and forward players that they're bringing in / about to bring in Gittins, who they've got for 55.6 as well. But when you're thinking about Delap and Pedro, and you think about how much money Chelsea have spent, if someone said to you 4 years ago, before Bowley came in and started splashing the cash again after Abramovich splashed the cash for 20 years, but if someone said, after all that money spent on paper, this would be your attack, it would be Liam Delap, with all due respect to him, I think he's going to be a great player, and it would be João Pedro, does that reflect how much money they've spent, or do you think, even though they've brought those two in, that they're still going to go out and buy another more household name?
I think they have to. I mean,
it's a lot though, isn't it?
Yeah, the billion's a little bit it's a bit disproportionate, I think, because they spent a lot of money and then sold them and then spent more. So the team's not worth a billion, but yeah, even to end up with that, it's João Pedro was at Watford a couple of years ago. Delap's had one season in the Premier League. Looking at your Netos, Madueke, like none of these are coming in as like the superstars, which is very un-Chelsea like. When you look back, it was always sort of, we'll go grab Shevchenko, we'll go grab
Crespo.
Whoever we fancy, and if it doesn't work out, it's fine, because we'll just go get another one. But as long as it pays off in a few years, if they end up in 3 years' time and Delap's world class and Esteval lives up to his potential when everyone else comes into it, then great, but it's an expensive gamble.
Yeah, it's a very, very pricey gamble. And if you actually look at some of the players that are due to leave Chelsea this season, we had a graphic up on the screen during the show earlier. I think it was 8 options in attack, but that wasn't including Felix or Sterling. And
Kunku will probably go as well.
Yeah, who's also there. And Jackson will probably leave as well.
So even like Mark Q and all that lot.
He'll probably go
so many.
But by the time all that money's brought back into the club, I mean, as much as they do bring in players in a savage manner, ruthless manner, they also sell players in a ruthless manner as well.
I think that's the good thing about the way they do it with like these 7-8 year contracts is if they like, what is it, amortization?
Yeah.
If they do that, sort of have them for 2-3 years, have a look, and then at the end of them 3 years, they're either worth the bomb or they've only spent sort of 20 million instalments or whatever, and then they can brush it off and it doesn't really cost them too much. But
yeah. And Jamie Gittins coming in as well. What do you know about him? Borussia Dortmund winger. Again, 55.6. And I made the point earlier about what Harvey Elliott's price could be. And again, you know, you're going off the recent trades, the recent deals. And if these two are 60 or 55, we'll get to Harvey Elliott later. But what do you know about Jamie Gittins then?
Good player. I mean, he's sort of like everyone compares him to Sancho. You know, the same sort of route, goes from England to Dortmund, comes through. I don't think he's quite at the level that Sancho was. Like, he was scoring like every week for Dortmund.
He was scoring a lot.
Again, it's another one of those. If he comes in and he lights the place up, you've got your winger for the next 6, 7, 8 years. If he doesn't quite take to the Premier League, then you've gambled. But I mean, look, the left wing market is not amazing, and Arsenal were looking at him. There's a few other clubs, so. I think he'll be all right. He's bright. That's probably the best way of putting it. If he lives up to it, he's a talent.
Yeah, he definitely will be, and I think I like the route that he's gone down in terms of, you know, coming through the academy. I think it was Chelsea and Reading. He came through, and obviously they didn't fancy him in the end. So he goes, you know, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to go around the houses metaphorically, and play abroad, get my confidence up, and then watch in 3 years you'll be buying me back for 55 million. So I like the.
He was Man City as well. That's why the Sancho thing. Yeah, he was Caversham, Trents, Reading, Chelsea, Reading, City, Dortmund.
So he's had to really go the long way round, hasn't he? So I like that mentality. You get knocked back at academy age, and you just spread your wings and go and, you know, get your stripes elsewhere, big him up. But again, if he's coming in, does that sign nearly the end of time for Madueke, who's obviously subject to a few
don't do this
and interest?
Don't do this.
I know you're an Arsenal fan, so could you ever entertain the thought of Madueke coming over to N5?
No, he can stay in whatever
SW3.
He can stay in SW.
SW6.
Yeah, he can stay in SW. But I think it'll spell the end. But I mean, look, you've got what Neto on one side. Obviously, they've lost Mudryk now pretty permanently, and then you've got Neto, Madueke, Gittins. I think Felix will go and Kunku will go. So 2 per position maybe.
Yeah, but Jackson as well maybe.
Jackson up front, Pedro, Palmer. They've got enough.
Yeah,
but
they should have enough to get in the top 4. Any bits more on Chelsea in the chat? Let us know any questions that you've got. Couple of comments. Yeah, is SW6. Chelsea sell well, have always done that using Roman's loan army, says Alex. Chelsea will have 100 players the way they're buying. Obviously, they're selling a lot as well. Ashley Williams, big up. And they apparently have sold 900 million in players.
Yeah,
so obviously,
they flipped. What was it? Koulibaly came in as their new number 26. Can I have John Terry's number? They gave him a year and sold him to Saudi.
Exactly.
Sorry, mate.
Savage.
Just make the money back.
Savage.
There you go.
Absolutely savage. And when I say savage, what I'm talking about is I can compare it to my club, right? And I think Klopp was maybe a bit sensitive sometimes, and maybe he would keep hold of players that
we're the same.
Maybe should have gone a little bit earlier. And this is just the opposite of that. And actually, Slot's implementing that. I think by the end of the summer, we're going to see a lot of names that maybe we didn't expect to leave Liverpool.
Which I think is a good way to do it. Like Arsenal, like I say, exactly the same. We've got so many players that have been in our books for years, and it's almost, but they're great around the dressing room, and they're really good characters, and they've got a role. But it's like, if that's Chelsea or City, they're probably just being like, sorry, like, you're not good enough, we're replacing you.
Yeah. And in the title of this video, Arsenal have joined Chelsea, Liverpool and Manchester United to sign Ekitike. This is an interesting one because, again, all these big clubs interested. I think if you could ask any of those clubs who would they rather have, Isak or Ekitike, they'd say the latter. But Manchester United, obviously, they're looking at Gyökeres and trying to get maybe someone else in as well as that with Mbuemo. But where do you think Ekitike ends up? And can you see a world where a few, almost like a mini bidding war happens for Isak, and then whatever happens in that situation, because he was asked in a restaurant in Croatia last night. I don't know if you saw that.
Who was?
Isak. He was on holiday in Croatia, and the waiter was a Liverpool fan, and he said, are you going to come to Liverpool? And he said, don't ask me these things. Not that that's anything to read into, I'm just saying what was allegedly said. But whatever happens with Isak, do you think the next domino to fall would be Ekitike, depending on who goes for him?
I think Matisse's calling him the baby Isak, doesn't he? I think he is sort of that frame. I think he'll go to you. I think he'd be a really good signing.
I think
he's that nice blend of like, he's probably more of a forward than Firmino was, but he can do that sort of link. He can play. You'll get the best out of your Salahs and your Gakpos when you've got someone that will facilitate. You don't want that. With Salah having the output he's had, you don't want to then bring in a forward that's going to scream for the ball because he wants to shoot every time, like a Gyökeres would be. You probably want that facilitator. So I think he'll go to you. I think for us, this is just we're bored of the Sesko thing now, so we're just going to try and throw smoke out there just to try and get other clubs to sort of get Leipzig into.
In a way, I mean, I've seen bits of him. He likes to obviously start on that left and cut in, similar to his goal against Tottenham away. But he reminds me a little bit of a Gakpo in the way that he runs. I know he's not as maybe broad. He's definitely 6'4". I think Gakpo's 6'4" as well. But I kind of look at him as but more of a central player, obviously, out number 9.
Does the Frankfurt curse scare you at all with him?
What? Or name some others in the curse.
I think Kolo Muani, Sebastian Aller, Luka Jovic, all sort of 60, 70, 80, 100 mils forwards from Frankfurt.
They do sell well. They're a very good
They sell very well, but they always smash it at Frankfurt as well. Like Jovic went Real Madrid. I don't even know if he's. Is he like Fiorentina or something?
I think he might be at Fiorentina.
Went to Madrid for like 80, 90 million, and then Haller went West Ham.
He's actually. Let's have a look at. Well, I don't think he's got a club. He was at AC Milan until like today, I think. He's only 27.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was on fire, wasn't he, for Frankfurt?
He was hitting like high 30s, I think, and Haller a little bit below him, and then they both went their separate ways, and neither of them did it. And obviously, Kolo Muani is struggling at almost being thrown out the door at PSG now.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? But yeah, Hugo Ekitike. Manchester United could obviously do with him. They need that goal scorer. Of course, they're looking at Gyökeres as well. I don't think Liverpool have ever been involved in Gyökeres, but
I wouldn't if I were you.
They're certainly looking at Isak, and I think when that domino falls, as I said, there will be almost like a trigger pressed, which then allows an Ekitike to start moving and speaking to other clubs.
Something will happen this window. I think.
Do you think they're all just waiting for each other to kind of show their hands a little bit at this stage?
I think Arsenal prefer Sesko, but Gyökeres prefers Arsenal.
Right.
So when Arsenal make that bid for Sesko, Gyökeres probably then goes, I'm more open to go to Man United now. So then he goes Man United, then he's off the market. And I think from that, everyone sort of dominoes fall. They're just waiting for that first team to commit because there's so many. It's like, well, we kind of like a lot of options.
Exactly. And I think in that domino effect, it could be Sesko, Gyökeres, Isak, Ekitike, maybe even Alvarez. A lot could ripple off the first person who makes that first move. But I don't think Ekitike ends up at Manchester United. I think if Liverpool say, we want you, knowing that obviously Pedro and Delap are at Chelsea as well, we're looking to sell our number 9 and almost guarantee you a starting place for the champions in the Premier League. I think even though Chelsea are, discussing whether internally they want him or not, I think if we say we want you, I think he comes to Liverpool.
And I think you've got a perfect blueprint to show him as well. Like you can literally say to him, well,
Firmino came from Hoffenheim as well.
Exactly. We've taken Firmino and this is what he's done. Here's how we play. We've just won a title. We're already one of the best teams. We're known for our attacking. Like there's probably not a better place for you to thrive.
Yeah.
As long as you're happy to come and live in Liverpool, because I think that's been a big thing in the past. But Frimpong's just come over from Germany. Wirtz has just come over. Like, you're not the only one.
Listen, Mo Salah lives in Liverpool.
Yeah, exactly.
And if it's good enough for Mo Salah, then who is anyone else to question it? Exactly, the song. But if Mo Salah can hit these levels and live very comfortably, his kids go to school in Liverpool.
His kids are pretty much Scouse.
Yeah, his kids are Scouse. Mo Salah loves Liverpool, and that's why I think with Liverpool fans, if you come here to Liverpool and you love us, I think even if you don't play a lot, like Chiesa, when he joined, he was smiling and almost
the best
crying
chant in football
around the place. Yeah, I know it is. It's unbelievable. But you saw that initial video when he signed. He was like, "Wow, look at this! This is incredible." Kirkers.
Didn't his dad play there or something? Not for you,
for
but
Italy.
like
He scored at Euro '96 for Italy. Chiesa, yeah, good finish as well. Actually, really nice kit as well.
That's what I said for so long. When people like with the Trent thing, everyone's like, "Oh, but you won't understand if you're not a Liverpool fan." And I was like, "I don't think you understand. They're pretty much like their own country.
Yeah.
Like like in Spain, it's like
Catalan,
Basque and Catalan. Like it is sort of its own." I was like, "Liverpool is literally that in the UK. Like you won't understand it."
Yeah, and literally when I I went to Ireland at the weekend and they're like Scousers as well, and it's a 24-minute flight, so it's the first place between the UK and Ireland. So Yeah, I think if he loves it, we'll love him instantly. Players come in and make the mistake of, we've had top players that have come, haven't settled and can't get to grips with the city and whatnot. But if you come and show your love instantly and start getting yourself out there and showing a bit of public, appreciation, we will back you and adore you till the hills. So
didn't Slot do that straight away?
Yeah.
He was in a pub or something, just speaking to Liverpool fans, just being like, I know you loved Klopp and you're all a bit sort of on edge about what's next, but at least let me be a part of you, and then we'll see where.
Won the league.
Yeah, there you go.
After 34 games, becomes a Premier League Liverpool legend.
I'm a few hundred into my era, but next phase.
Staying on Manchester United, on the Mbuemo update, who obviously joined the club from Troyes in 2019, it's reported by Sammy Mock-Bell at the BBC. Brentford are in constant dialogue with the forward, and it's not impossible he will stay, but there is a chance, according to the director of football, Phil Giles, who on BBC Sport said, you're expecting big interest in him. We've had big interest on him. And he says, he's well within his rights to think about what he wants to do the next stage of his career, but it's not impossible. He is still a Brentford player next season if we agree he's going to stay.
Do you reckon that's just United, you need to up your bid?
I think,
sort of like put it out in the media of like, we're not playing any games, like, because what is it, 2 bids rejected now?
Yeah.
Just do the like, look, we don't have to sell him, so if you really want him, here's our like public call out of he's got a price. It's
almost like, look, the first 2 deals weren't what we wanted. Stop messing us around now. Just pay the money, that's the fee. If you don't want it, you're actually wasting our time, and we can probably sell him to Tottenham straight away. So I think he obviously wants to move. He's pushing for it. But United, they can't stump up the money. Speaking of United, by the way, Rashford is returning. He is not going to Aston Villa. I think people knew this anyway, if I'm honest, but it is an Ornstein tweet from very recently. Whilst we stay on Manchester United, who are obviously looking to sell quite a lot of players as well, including Rashford, is this any surprise, and where is he going to end up?
I have no idea where he goes. Do you think there's any chance United take him back in? Like, any chance Amorim has another look? Or?
No, I think it's done. I think the fans think it's done. I think the player thinks it's done. I think the manager thinks it's done. At this stage, as the window kind of rolls on, if they get to the end of July, start of the season, and Rashford's still there digging his feet and maybe booting balls away in training, not physically, just metaphorically, then we could see like a super low ball bid come in, like a 20, 25 tops, and he could go somewhere like a... I couldn't even tell you. He's obviously thinking, right, let's get to Barca. There is interest. I would love to play for them. But they don't want you, and they can't afford you.
They're going for Nico Williams.
They're going for Nico Williams. They'd rather do that. He's flirted with all the top clubs, the PSGs, everyone, really. Real Madrid. I could see him. This is a real random one. We'll see what happens. But, imagine if he just goes to, Fiorentina or something.
I could see the, last days of the window, Dortmund come in with a 70-30 wage split just to try and just get him out the door. Another one of them, like Sancho, where they do the loan with an option and then they never take the option. But because what's he on, 350, 300?
Yeah,
he's got to be one of the highest paid players in the league. So unless he's taking a massive cut, I don't know who's going to take him. It screams Arteta. It screams us to make a little flirty bid towards the end of the window, but. Arteta needs to stop trying to fix players and just get some good ones. And
according to an Aston Villa channel on X, they say that Villa were never going to spend 40 million plus 17 million annually on wages for Rashford. No club's going to spend that.
No, because if they trigger the release clause, it's like contract talk, so they can lower his wages. But how much of a cut is he willing to take?
You know what? 5 years ago, who would have thought this would be what we were talking about?
2 years ago, of hit 30 goals, whatever it was, and it was they dream of pairing him up with Mbappe at PSG, and now it's
now he's thrown his CV out to all these people, and no one's really biting on them. So
Barca have obviously Nico Williams. Look at Chelsea, are the one you'd maybe be like, I could see them doing it, but they're going for Gittins and Pedro. The doors are slamming shut pretty quickly
as well.
Yeah,
where's he going to end up?
PSG have gone down the young route, so they won't touch him. They're not about that anymore.
Napoli have got who have they brought
maybe
in?
Nunes.
Wingers? Maybe Nunes, but which wingers are they?
Is it Noah Lang? They get in as well, so the doors are slamming shut in his face pretty quickly. And
let's say you're Rashford, right? I'm gonna make you an offer you can refuse. I'm not like The Godfather. But let's just presume we get to July 29th now, a month from almost today, and there's no offers on the table. I'm gonna offer you 3 offers. Bear in mind the time. Bear in mind pre-season is almost finished. You have to go to a club, get your training in, and start. You're on $350 a week.
Mm-hmm.
Besiktas. Before you say it, let me put the 3 offers on.
The Turkish league is
Let
spending.
me put the 3 offers on, right?
Okay.
So they go. We'll loan you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll give you 100 grand towards your wages of 350.
Go play with Tammy Abraham.
Go play with Tammy Abraham, and
Oxlade-Chamberlain.
so you've got that. That's option 1.
Yeah.
Option 2, Crystal Palace.
Right.
Right. Got Europe. Great
Yeah.
chance for you to get your goals up and get into the England squad for the World Cup.
Yeah. Eze on his way out, maybe.
Eze's on his way out, and we'll pay 20% of your wages. So that's going to be difficult to negotiate with United.
Mm-hmm.
So you got them 2 now. And then the last one I will go with is... Let me think about this.
No Saudi offers. You don't reckon they want him?
No, because I'm trying to do him a favour here and not... I know Saudis
don't wanna
probably
call him
would
wash.
buy him, but I'm not going to wash him off just yet. So the last one I will give you is Lyon, who are in League 2.
Go
But
do
they're
it.
still in
Andy
Europe,
Carroll.
though.
Go play for free.
Are still in Europe.
Okay.
They've been allowed to play in Europe, I think. Yeah. And again, get your goals up. French League, take the piss a little bit. League 2, League 2. What are you picking?
Probably Besiktas.
Really, over Palace?
Go over there, different league, score a load of goals. You know what their fan base is like.
Yeah.
Be loved. Get your stock right back through the roof. However, is Thomas Tuchel going to look at the Turkish league and go, World Cup next year?
That's why I would say
That's-
Palace.
yeah.
Get yourself to Palace.
It might have to be then.
But again,
But then it's the
but then
Villa
it's
thing
London.
again. Yeah.
You're going to London. He likes a night out.
Yeah.
Where can you send him when there's just no places to go out?
Saudi.
Peterborough?
Whoa. Have you ever been to Flares?
No,
There you go.
I probably won't.
It's like
to be fair.
Potworld, but worse.
Saudi. I guess Ivan Toney's a bit of an anomaly because he's actually got recalled after being in Saudi, where he
But
smashed
played,
it. To be fair.
3 minutes?
Yeah,
Like,
so it
Tuchel
wasn't worth
sort of-
it. But I can't see where he ends up. Newcastle?
Anthony Gordon's on that side. That's what I'm saying.
And Harvey Barnes.
There's not many doors that are open.
So it might have to be a Fiorentina or something like that,
Like a little,
Real Betis.
yeah, a little
They can't
rebuild.
afford
Yeah.
him though.
No. He's
But
got to take a cut. I don't know if United will do a loan. I think they'll want a clean break, but
Yeah.
who pays that money for him?
I just can't call it. Maybe the end of the next DR Sports video with the team around the table, we'll do a
Inter Milan
where
rebuild.
does Rashford end up? Inter Milan rebuild.
You know, they
Yeah,
Asian
potentially.
squad, get him in the front two. Him and
Potentially, mate.
Martinez got
Yeah.
Thuram, but
Potentially, you do never know where he could end up. Clara Bitsy says, AGT, how does it feel to finally have a sensible Arsenal fan on the panel?
oh, you had James on there the other day.
I don't know. I'll let you know when one turns up. Hey!
Hey.
No, James is probably my favourite Arsenal fan, to be
Thanks.
honest.
Cheers.
On Arsenal Fan TV.
Okay.
To be fair, you are quite pessimistic
Mm-hmm.
about Arsenal, so I actually prefer, like Everton fans, when they're like, yeah, we are shit, I'll be like, oh, it's fine then, all good, so I don't need to say it. And
Because just know that when we win something, we'll be the worst.
exactly, so
Like
I'm
the absolute
just
worst.
waiting for. Well, I don't want to wait. Actually, I can continue waiting a long time until.
I
that
thought
happens.
you would be bad this season, but
I haven't been that bad at it.
But knowing Robbie and all that, like, and Cecil, it's gonna be a long summer.
I
if
mean, they
Arsenal win
made that
anything.
picture of me, in December or something like
I think it
that.
was earlier than that. It was a City game,
November.
wasn't it? It was like 8 games in.
The start of November. So they manifested it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
big
to
up
be
to
fair,
Robbie.
Cecil put in the T-shirt. It didn't work. But
Didn't work. So that one did. Oh, I'll take it. But yeah, it does feel good. I'll be honest, because it's not every day when I'm here that I am surrounded by sensible Arsenal fans. I think we know who we're talking about. Which one?
No comment.
That's what people say. But let's go back to the Premier League and Arsenal. We'll move on to your team now. Christian Mosquera. I've seen a bit of the fella, and he looks good. He's obviously played in the lower levels of the La Selección with Dean Howson at centre-back, hasn't he? He's been playing a few games
Yeah,
with
he
him for Spain
was-
under-21s.
I think he's Colombian by
Yeah.
heritage, but was chosen Spain through
Yeah.
the youth levels. But
Yeah. And yeah, looks really good. But Robbie said it on the show earlier as well about scouts and teams looking for targets in the summer. What was the number one centre-back target in Arsenal's brains for this window, and was it him? And if it wasn't him, why have you gone for him? Will that be a domino effect for Gahey?
I think it was Dean Howson, because I think Fabrizio came out ages ago and was like, Arsenal were like going to offer him like a package, and he probably swiftly looked at it and was like, I can go Real Madrid and play, or go to Arsenal and probably not play as much because Saliba Gabriel. So I think he was the like market opportunity. If you can trigger his release clause, go for that. But yeah, it's just we need cover for Saliba. You saw us last year, like the amount of injuries we had at the back is, it's our own fault for not being prepared for it. Tomiyasu, not quite sure if he exists anymore. Timber just had surgery. White had surgery. You don't want to have another situation where you're short of the back. So just prepare. Look, like 18 million euros.
Yeah. And they need the dough as well, by the way, Valencia, because they're building that new stadium. They're in financial trouble.
It wasn't like 2008 they started building that, didn't they?
Yeah.
The new Mestalla.
Yeah. Do you know what? Under Rafa Benitez in the early 2000s, they were some team,
They've had some good.
I think they won the league in.
Was it Ferran Torres was there? Like Canyon Lee was there.
But even before that, David Villa, Silva, Mata, Canizares, the centre back, I can't remember his name, but they came to Anfield and just wiped the floor of Liverpool a few times in the UEFA Cup. And then they obviously got to the Champions League final, lost 1-0 or maybe 2-1 to Madrid.
Yeah. And we had a few battles with like Villarreal.
And then they won the UEFA Cup in 2004.
Yeah, we had a few with Villarreal, not Valencia. We had like the sort of Riquelmes and come and tear it up at Highbury.
So he's coming in.
Yeah.
Apparently, you're also in for Ekitike, but I think that's a little bit of a loose one because
that's a smokescreen, I think.
Yeah, it's a smokescreen, and there's so many things that need to happen for that to ever be even considered. But top player is going to be linked with all the top clubs, and he has been, obviously. But you are this week finalising Norgard. Party's officially done today, I think it is.
Yeah, last day of the month.
And Kepa and Zubi are announcing this week too. When do you think all of these get announced and they're holding the shirt up? And do you think Arsenal start maybe almost starting the bidding more as soon as July starts when the PSR refreshes?
Yeah, I think it's got to be like from this week. The whole thing with Zubimendi was that I think the Spanish financial year starts in July rather than like April, so they wanted on this year's books. It's been done for so long, it's just announcing it. But hopefully they do like one, give us a couple of days to sort of digest it, give us another one, because there's some good announcement videos coming on AFTV, I've heard, and potentially seen, allegedly.
Allegedly.
So, eyes peeled.
Yeah, allegedly there's been some filmed, but can't really comment any more on that, to be fair. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. We've asked you in the chat, where is Rashford going next? Somewhere in the Premier League, 63% of you. Name the club then. If he's in the Prem, which club's he going to? And don't just say Arsenal. Think of a bit crazily out of the box. Barcelona, 19%. I think that's a bit too respectful. And United Redemption, 17%. I didn't see that one there. But yeah, there are your options. Going back to Arsenal. Eze. We've seen him on the screen here. Would you like to have Eze at Arsenal? They've obviously spoken to him concretely over the weekend as well with his representatives. He's in the mix with Rodrigo, but if you're looking at the two, for me personally, if I was an Arsenal fan, I think Rodrigo is the shiny name and the shiny toy that maybe people want, the new toy. But I think Eze could be a very, very shrewd signing if you bring him in. Versatile, obviously, buckets of Premier League experience now. I think he's been playing here for 5 years in the Prem. Good age still, is in the squads for England. I think that wouldn't be the worst shout ever, him going to Arsenal. But how would that impact? Or actually, where would you like him to play if he does come in?
If he comes in, it has to be with a left winger for me. If we get like a Rodrigo or someone else, and Eze, great. If Eze is the guy that comes in to be the left winger, then not for me. Like, I spoke to a few Palace fans there, like some big ones like Talk CPFC. Spoke to him today and was like, if Eze comes in, what does that look like for Arsenal? And he was like, he's not a touchline winger.
Yeah, he isn't.
Like the one season he played left wing for Palace, someone else was saying is the one that we all were like, okay, we're selling him. Like that's when he's bit his worst. Especially with us when Lewis Skelly comes inside, our wingers have to sit so high. So unless we're reworking it, I don't think he would work on the left. But look, if we're playing a team in a low block and you can just do Rice, Eze and Odegaard together, that's
I do like that.
Look, I'd love it, but as long as it's not that like, we couldn't get Rodrigo, so we've done this instead.
Yeah, I do like that flexibility in his positioning, but I think if he was the you are the responsible left wing now. I can't really see him
It reminds
flourishing.
me a bit of January when we were looking at Cunha, and it was like, I really like him, but he's not an out-and-out 9, and he's not an out-and-out winger. So it's like, I love the idea of it, but where? And then United makes so much more sense for him. Yeah,
I think he can tick a few boxes, but centrally I think that's where he would probably prefer to play.
That left 8, him and Odegaard together, but then you've got
But then it messes up everything else. Yeah.
So, but look,
because I can't see you getting him, a striker, and then another left winger. It's him who, can play in that position, or it's just a number 9 or both, but not all three. But as we know, Eze still one of the number of forwards on Arsenal's transfer list, but they do remain interested in Rodrigo from Real Madrid. Yeah, that is true.
Every single time he plays any game of football, they do a whole documentary on how he got released by Arsenal. So it'd be kind of nice if he came back.
Redemption story.
Yeah, there you go.
But again, it's another example of staying.
A dream was to play for Arsenal. I think he said he cried for a week when he was released as well. So it'd be nice to.
But again, this is shows the fragility sometimes of the academy system. In an ideal world, you would have just kept the player, but. Everyone makes their own journey, and he's now costing them a load of money, allegedly, to go back there when they had him 10 years ago.
Does it mean much to you as a fan, like when the player wants to play for you? I know that seems a bit stupid, but when the player's like, I'm actually a fan, like I really want to be here. This is like rather than I'm a really good player, Liverpool's a great opportunity for me and my career.
Oh no, I definitely prefer the fan aspect, because I think it's rare these days that players actually reveal so much about who they support as a kid, or... because they don't really want to, jeopardise any moves. But Kirkes has come in. He looks like he's... I interviewed Frimpong last week, and he says, his dad's a Liverpool fan. I know he's obviously been pictured wearing a few shirts, and I think with a younger generation, it's almost a little bit different to maybe... I sound old, well, I am getting on. But, like...
I'd have sold you on Football Manager by now. You're gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think if a player comes in and they show... Like Chiesa was such a fan of the place when we brought him in. I think you instantly warm to those players more,
Like Frimpong, I've seen him like an Arsenal shirt, but it's probably just Timbers, isn't it, realistically?
I think it was match one. I think it was his match one. Because obviously
there's
they
so
link
many
up.
of them where it's like, I dare Frimpong to drop a stinker because he's an Arsenal fan. It's like, is he?
He actually said he was a Chelsea fan growing up.
I saw an interview of him where he was like, I wanted to sign for Liverpool, but my parents didn't drive, so I had to go to City because I could get there by bus. So it's like, this is like full circle for him.
By the way, it is absolutely sweltering in here.
Oh no, you can see through my hair. Just turn the lights down.
The sweat is dripping off my face. That's spitting out hot air though, bro. Okay. So the sweat is coming down my legs and arms right now, but I'm sure no one at home wants to hear that. Anyway, let's move on to Newcastle. Bit of a tough week for Newcastle in terms of rejection. Cunha and Mbuemo. And remind me, who's the third one? That's
João Pedro.
And João Pedro, who looked like he was on his way there, to be honest.
I think he got a
That's actually all right, Jace.
I think he got a Here We Go a couple of years ago.
Is that cold air, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
we did get a Here We Go.
João Pedro got a Here We Go to Newcastle from Watford, I think.
Yeah.
And then ended up at Brighton.
Yeah. So it's a tough week. Their sporting director has obviously put the feelers out. Nothing's really come back. They are still interested in Elanga. They got rejected by him as well. Not fully, but obviously the bid got turned down. But they have agreed a deal to sign Rangers promising forward Alfie Hutchinson, which is great. I'm sure he'll get opportunities. But, where do you go for them? If you're in Newcastle right now, do you go back to the drawing board and go, right, dust ourselves down? Bit of an ego killer, that one, getting rejected by all these players. We want to keep Isaac. He's got his potentially eyes on either a massive deal to obviously keep him at the club, or he might start looking abroad or when I say abroad, I mean Liverpool, later on down the window.
I think they're at that point where they've got most of what they need. You just need those key pieces. So that's where it probably is a bit frustrating that you look at their team and be like, Gordon, great. Isaac, world class. Murphy did amazing, but if you can get an Mbuemo in there, then that's a quality front three. You've got that midfield. So just trying to find them final pieces of the jigsaw, but like you say, I don't know what it is with them, because I feel like it's kind of not similar to Liverpool, but in the whole, like, it's not London. Like, the fans will love you, but...
Like Bruno.
Like Tonali was like, you've lived in Milan.
Yeah.
So you're now going to go live in Newcastle. Like, they'll love you, but it's going to be a bit of a culture shift. But I feel like they're starting to do that now. And they've won their first trophy in ages. Maybe it's... They just need someone to make that jump, I think. They need a big player now to make another jump and hopefully just kickstart their window. But
yeah, I think you could say, Bruno Guimaraes, who again, played in Europe, comes to Newcastle. He loves the fans. They adore him, and it works.
Is that the There We Land kid on the screen?
What's going on
The
here?
winner. Is that the There We Land?
Is that him? Bayern Munich have officially added Luis Diaz to their shortlist. There are no internal talks with Liverpool yet, but Bayern is optimistic to get the deal done. Also searching for a new winger and could generate a good amount of money. That's not going to happen. There's no way.
Can you do the impression? Can you do a Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich There We Land?
No, I can't. I
You
can't.
don't want to impersonate a kid?
No, yeah, that, and also I just don't know. But that is not going to happen. There's no way. I mean, Bayern Munich have already had their agents working on generating hype and interest and rumours about Cody Gakpo. And we've heard about the links from Barcelona. It's more Luis Diaz's dad said one day he'd love to play for them. You know, cheers, mate.
What about Saudi now?
He's not going anywhere.
Just with John Duran going, there's a lot of talks that they've done the same sort of shortlist.
Liverpool should have a look at John Duran. I know he's going to Fenerbahce, but I think that's a bit of a coup if someone could have got him.
He's going on loan apparently. Like they're done with him, but he's going to go on loan for a bit. And when I saw him out in Saudi Arabia when we went out there, he was poor. Like really
Robbie
poor,
said he looked greedy in the game.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem when you sort of leave Villa to be the main man in Saudi, but then they put you on a team with Cristiano Ronaldo. It's a bit like,
Yeah. But Luis Diaz will be staying at Liverpool. There's no doubt about that. We'll give him a new contract and he will sign it. He's on 55k a week at the minute.
What do you think of him? Because
him.
I speak to so many Liverpool fans that are like up and down of like started electric.
I love
he
him.
got like 5 in his first 5 last season,
Yeah.
and then sort of disappeared for a bit, and then came back,
Yeah.
and it's sort of. I know
Yeah,
a lot of fans are sort of torn on whether he's the guy.
The good thing about that last season, and I agree, started I think 10 and 15 he got right at the start across in all comps, hat-trick against Bayer Leverkusen, no look finish. And then during the winter he kind of faded a little bit. I mean, it's no surprise that he probably actually wanted to have the weather in Porto, and he wasn't really used to playing at Burnley on a Tuesday night in England.
Yeah.
So maybe in the winter he does fade a little bit, but when he came back in that period where he did fade, Cody Gakpo stepped up. So it was like this, the season, nice little dance move this, I'll never do this again.
There's a GIF there.
This is like a
Diaz Sports
graph.
GIFs.
This is science what I'm doing right now. So Diaz was going up and down, and whenever he wasn't great, Gakpo would start, and whenever Gakpo wasn't great, Luis Diaz would start. So it was actually pretty seamless.
We should make
them
that
coming in and out.
We should make that a membership thing. So anyone that buys a membership gets a little GIF if you're doing that to just spam in the chat.
Well,
There you
do
go.
it. We'll earn some money, some cash.
But I think Diaz is one of them players as well where like stats don't show everything. Like we've played Liverpool where Diaz hasn't scored, but he's just been an absolute nightmare. Like you've probably scored a goal because of something that he's done, but he's not got a goal or an assist. Like he's just relentless.
Do you remember when he absolutely tore
Man
Kyle
City.
Walker, a new one, and Rodri at the same time?
Sort of got through like 5 of them, got to the byline. Was that the game you should have had a pen?
That's the game where Doku got
Just
McAllister
kicked
in the chest. But also, if you remember, Diaz was through on goal in that game as well and put it wide. If we won that game, you never know. But yeah, Luis Diaz, I'm telling you right now, he will remain a Liverpool player. He's very happy at the club. He's never once himself personally in press conferences or interviews said he'd ever want to leave. It's only, Barcelona, of course they're going to be interested. I remember Deco talking about him a couple of months ago, saying, yeah, we love him, but we're not going to speak about other players that aren't ours. It's like, you just did.
Yeah.
They're trying to plant these little seeds.
Like if Nico Williams wants to join us, we'll find a way of making it happen.
Yeah,
It's
mate.
like, just say you're going to pull some levers.
Honestly.
Just do some more
But
wedding.
55k a week, Google it. If you don't believe me, Google it right now. I think you ask him if he'd like to sign a deal for... I mean, Mane was on like 150, I think, so... Yeah, 140, just double it, triple it.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing
Almost.
Liverpool have done really well this summer with your contracts is you've done you've given the big deals, but it's these are the players that have earned it.
Yeah.
I think United made the mistake of giving Sanchez loads of money, so then De Gea was like, well, I've been here for ages and been really good, so I deserve that money. But you've sort of done Van Dijk gets the max contract, Salah gets a max contract, Verts, you get a big contract, but you don't get that until you've done what they've done.
Bit loud this, isn't it?
Oh.
I think someone needs to come and turn this off before it blows up.
Yeah, I think our aircon might be about to detonate.
Standing back, mate.
Well, it didn't like me praising Liverpool, so I'll stop.
That did not sound good, bro. Okay, probably won't use that again.
Stop praising Liverpool.
Where were we? I can't even remember. That was very
Talk
loud.
about
Sorry,
Liverpool's
guys.
wage structure.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's like you don't come in on the A wage. You come in on the C wage, which is 120 probably.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Diaz's is like the E-wage. I'm pretty sure Nat Phillips was on around that kind of same money. But yeah, you work up to your B's and your A's. You get your trophies, you make big contributions. Mo Salah and Virgil and Alisson and Robbo deserve it. They 100% deserve it. But if he does come in, yeah, I'd say around 120 to accept a new deal. To fend off the interest from Barca and Bayern. That is not happening. There's no way. I'm sorry. There's no way. Gabriel Martinelli. I don't want to win the Saudi money. I want to win the Premier League and the Champions League with Arsenal.
I'm seeing the little display picture being Martinelli. So
yeah,
I might VAR check that quote. But he said it a few times. I've asked him, like, what do you need to sign your contract? And he was like, a pen.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, that's it. Like, he's more than happy here. But it's, like you were saying earlier about being a little bit ruthless, it's yeah, you sort of...
He's in that category now,
we signed you when you were 17. Well, you're not Haaland, but we sort of treat you as one of our own. But 2 seasons now, you've been really poor. Like, you had that 16-goal season, wherever it was, 2 years ago. But now, 2 poor years. Is this the point where you go, sorry, like, we want Rodrigo? That's just...
And I think Gakpo and Diaz got 17 or 18 each. So I think
which is crazy.
You've got to get back to, at least 15.
Martinelli and Trossard probably chipped him with like 10 each in all comps, if that, last year. Whereas Martinelli 2 years ago did 15 in the Prem on his own.
Yeah, it's not enough, that. So could there be a ruthless kind of July there for Martinelli at Arsenal? On West Ham, they remain adamant that they need to sell to buy within the new fears of the PSR breaches. If they don't do that, the squad is so badly put together, right, that Kudus is basically the only sellable asset left they have. I mean, they could sell Bowen, but it's very late on in his deal. So Spurs could be possible, but we all last season in this exact time, around this exact table, said that West Ham looked like they've won the transfer market last year. How can you go from putting that squad together thinking, and let's be honest, at the start of the season everyone said that's a good squad, like West Ham will do bits this year, including myself. How have they gone from that promise to plummeting as hard as needing to sell players to actually buy any? Have they just spent all their money last year and it just didn't work?
Yeah, we say it like every season. I remember saying like Haller, Yarmolenko, they look amazing, or Skamaka looks like a brilliant striker. And every single year, the West Ham have this same. They've won the window, but then they don't win the window. But yeah, like you say, to have one player as the sellable asset, and even with him, it's we'll sell him for below his release clause just because we need to do it. I mean,
Somerville, Fulkrug,
Max Kilman, Soler.
Just hasn't worked.
I think they brought in like some Luis Guilherme, another young defensive midfielder as well.
Yeah, hasn't worked for them at all. And I think the West Ham fans, by the end of the season, were absolutely fed up. They just wanted it all to be over. So West Ham, where do they end up? Who are they going to get? And who are they going to sell? And where is Kudus going to go? If you're a Tottenham fan, we know that Tottenham are interested in him. Where do you think he ends up?
Didn't he get sent off against Tottenham this year for like trying to scrap the whole team?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and then had to go and sit on his naughty step in the changing room.
It's going to be really awkward sort of first day.
It's in the moment, isn't it? It's in the moment, so you just apologise.
I think he goes there. I think the same with the striker thing. I think there'll be a domino effect where it's once Eze decides, then Kudus decides, then X, Y, Z, and everyone sort of has a chain. But what do you think about Spurs' pull? I know it's like a weird way of saying it, but like, there's a lot of Arsenal fans on Twitter. They're obviously trolling and trying to make jokes, but it's you just won the Europa League.
Yeah,
you're in the Champions League, but you're not really making big moves. Do you think it's a wage thing that they're just not willing to compete financially with anyone else?
I think
Arsenal and Spurs are both in the Champions League.
Yeah,
but Arsenal will offer you more money probably, just because
with Spurs, the best example I can give you is Luis Diaz. When he went to Tottenham's training ground, he literally was about to sign the contract, and then he heard Liverpool were interested. Willian as well went to Spurs. They do famously get rejected at the very last step, don't they, before the contract in the past. So I think if they're your only option, you go there. If you want them and they want you, you go there. But I do think with Tottenham, yes, they're a big six club, but I do think if you're a player that's being courted by them and you fancy the move and you're toying with the idea, obviously, living in North London, getting a lot of money, all that stuff is great. But if someone like a Liverpool comes in who is the next level, Man City, Arsenal, who is the next level club, and your options are on the table, I think you probably wouldn't go to Tottenham.
But let me ask you this, because I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'll seem biased. If you're a player that's done really well in Europe,
and
say to you, like, I'm your agent, and I was like, Arsenal are interested in you, Tottenham are interested in you. Why would you choose the Arsenal route, assuming that we're both in the Champions League? They've just won a trophy. We haven't got that recent winning culture. Neither have they. So there must be something sort of deeper woven that's there why you wouldn't choose Spurs.
It's the history of Tottenham. I think that's what we're both getting to here, isn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit. With all due respect, they have just won a trophy. They're starting a new period of, trying to continue that success in the Europa League and try and defend it next season. They're not going to win the title, but under Thomas Frank, they will have a clear identity. It's a lot more sustainable than Ange Postecoglou, one that actually has proven in the Premier League as doing the absolute most, squeezing the absolute most out of what you can do with that Brentford team, and he's taken them as far as they can go, and this is the next level up for him. But let me ask you this in retaliation.
Okay.
If you're Thomas Frank and you've just done 9 years at Brentford and Tottenham come up for you and Arsenal come in for you as a manager, where are you going?
You go to Arsenal.
Well, there you go. So it's not just players, it's managers as well.
I think it's the same way with Mbuemo as well. Someone was describing, Dylan was on here the other day, was describing to me, he was like, Spurs might be here right now and their potential is probably here, whereas United, however bad United get, there's always a chance that one day they get back there, whereas Spurs have never proven they can get to that top.
Exactly.
And Mbuemo can go to United and at some point they could just become Man United again, but with Spurs it's kind of they'll get a lot better, but will they ever hit that title winning level? You don't
let us know. Have we summed that up okay? Tottenham fans in the chat.
Yeah, I'm trying to be nice to them.
Yeah, we're trying to be a bit respectful. So let us know if Kudus does end up at Spurs, and what is that pool like between a Tottenham, between an Arsenal, and the rest basically, and why do Spurs get let down quite a lot when it comes to their targets in the window? I see Joe in the chat there. AGT is sweating buckets. Yeah, so we won't be much longer, I'm sure. Nice and hot. But let's get through these super chats. Red Square says, if Rodrigo came to Arsenal, he wouldn't be the top 10 fastest players at the club. Kai, Ben White, Saliba, Mo, Gabriel, Kiwior are all faster than him. Check Opta. This is a team lacking pace, by the way. Thoughts? I mean, he's been on the Opta.
I mean, Opta don't lie.
Doesn't lie.
Was it Opta Joe? There you go.
Must be.
But, I mean, someone said this earlier, though, like if Arsenal get Sesko and Rodrigo and have Saka, it's the slowest front three in the Prem. Like, Sesko's not rapid.
He is rapid.
One of the quickest players. He was like the quickest player of the last Euros.
6'5", isn't he?
Yeah, like he's unbelievably quick. But Rodrigo's is he's like a tight dribbler. Like he wants to get the ball and drive with it. He probably doesn't open his legs up as much, but...
Pause.
Yeah, pause.
But I know what you mean. He won't like tap it down the line and run after it.
Yeah, he's not going to try and burn someone around the outside.
He'll try and drop the shoulder and come inside and maybe start again. Common AGT man, move on from Liverpool. This ain't Cop TV, says Clara Bitsy. In your head, how much is Harvey Elliott worth just on Liverpool? And before you answer, has it changed in the last 3 weeks?
I think he's probably worth haggling for 60. I think because he's not played much at all and it's clear that he maybe doesn't have a future, I can see why you'd get less.
Because they'd he's a backup player, give him to us.
But you can't really play the cards of we don't want to let him go, so you're going to have to pay top dollar. They'll be like, well, we kind of know you want to. But English...
Two-time Premier League winner.
Two-time Premier League winner. Euros under 21s again. I know he's obviously a bit older, but spearheaded the whole thing, player of the tournament. Was he top scorer?
Yeah, 5 and 6, player of the tournament.
Shown that he's got leadership skills.
Captain.
Good attitude, I think, as well. I don't see why you can't ask for 60.
All of that on paper is a £60 million player, I think. And
I think quality-wise as well.
Quality-wise, unbelievable.
He's got that problem where he doesn't have that position. I'll say the same thing with the England senior squad. When Thomas Tuchel gets... do they get playing cards maybe and put them out on the desk and pick? But they don't put him in the right winger camp with your Sakas and all that, but they probably don't also put him in the number 10 group. There's just like a Harvey Elliott card just somewhere on that side of the pitch. Yeah. It's like, we could take him, but...
Almost that inside right channel, just from the edge of the box to the halfway line is almost that strip.
Yeah.
Someone needs to right just give him the player that cuts in. I mean, his crosses, when he does cut in, fantastic. You saw what he did at PSG away. What a buzz that was. And I absolutely love the boy. I've worked with him. I think he's a really nice, humble lad, very quietly spoken, loves Liverpool. Maybe a bit shy, but on the pitch, he's an absolute beast. So I'd love to, like you say, in an ideal world, there's a place for him, and he's there for his whole career because he loves Liverpool, and I love that about him, as we were talking about earlier. But he's 22, coming on 23. He's got to play every week for someone, but I don't think he wants to play in the Premier League. I think he should go abroad if we do.
I'd love to see him go to like a Dortmund or a Leverkusen or a Leipzig. Like, give him the keys, like build the team around him, let him be the star out the limelight of the Premier League. Sort of like build his own brand. But yeah, 60 million, I don't think would be, especially with Liverpool. Like, you guys annoy me so much.
Yeah,
we've got how are we like? We're paying players to leave. Like, we paid off Socrates' contract. We like threw Aubameyang out the door. We paid off Mesut Ozil, and you're going like Sepp Vandenberg.
25
games
mate.
For us.
Yeah, go on.
25 mil. Solanke, you're clearly not going to make it here, mate. But 20 mil, whatever.
Ryan Brewster,
his stocks were high, to be fair. Who was the centre back you bought when you had no centre backs?
Ben Davies. No.
Yeah, Ben Davies.
Yeah, it was him.
Did you make a profit on him as well somehow?
Yeah, somehow. He never even played for us. What a signing that was.
Players that you're actively trying
also
to sell.
We got Freddie Woodman in, the third goalkeeper. Recently, Leandros says Eze gives top 8 or 10 options and pushes the left wing Prem proven. Yeah, that's the upside of bringing in Eze, who can do a few jobs. Sorry, I thought there was something there. So yeah, listen, Arsenal allegedly have joined Chelsea, Liverpool and Manchester United to sign Ekitike. Chelsea still trying to get a few more deals over the line, including Gittins and Pedro, but he looks to be travelling to US for Chelsea's Club World Cup campaign. Rashford is going to stay at United. Arsenal, probably in the next 10 days, we'll see 4 signings announced for Arsenal. Which must be an exciting time for Arsenal, but it's still not enough according to league judges. And the transfer window isn't shut.
Just one thing that really annoys me is that fans just need to realise that the order that you sign players is in the order of priority.
Yes.
Just because we signed Kepa first doesn't mean that we went into the window being like, we must get a goalkeeper done immediately. Top priority. It was the triggering a £5 million release clause is a lot easier than negotiating £65 million for a striker.
100%. Things take time, man.
Let's judge it.
Wait. Judge it at the end.
Yeah.
That's
when
what I
we walk
always
out
say.
at Old Trafford, let's look at the 11 players that walk out on the pitch, and then we'll judge it.
There you go. Yeah, don't go early, Lee. Newcastle and Burnley still apparently quite far apart in the valuation of James Trafford, but I do think that one gets over the line just about in the end. But they have been burnt, really, in a week of rejection. Elanga, Cunha, Pedro, and who was the last one they got rejected by? Or is it maybe just 3? But anyway, they've signed Alfie Hutchinson from Rangers. West Ham, they need to sell Kudus to help themselves, like everyone else, with the PSR breaches. And do Tottenham have pull? 74% of you say no. 25 say yes. There you go. Right, if you've enjoyed the show, show us. We're going to get some fresh air because it's absolutely sweltering in here. And hopefully this isn't the same tomorrow. But I'll be here nonetheless. Big up, Jack, for coming on. Love the kit. It's getting a lot of love in the comments
here tomorrow as well. Pending.
Okay, well, decent. We'll see.
Get the Florian Wirtz shirt on.
Lovely. I'll be a fan of that for sure. Right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Who is your club buying? Who is your club selling? Let us know down below. And we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.